and kind of, I don't know, just a trail of things that have irked me a little bit.
I love it.
At the end of last week and at the beginning of this week, it's been now reported that Brandon Aiyuk officially has a number next to his name. $26 million is the number that the San Francisco 49ers have reportedly floated his way in regards to a contract offer. Last week, it was Christian McCaffrey getting his record-setting deal. And, of course, the last two offseasons, Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel. And then I also heard over the weekend from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler that Trent Williams, there are whispers, quote, whispers of him wanting a new deal, despite being 36, 37, 3 years left on his current contract, including this season. It seems like everybody in San Francisco is trying to get paid, Goo. And the guy that we've all been wondering about now officially has a dollar sign next to his digits. Not broken, but it's Brandon Aiyuk and it's $26 million.
Now, is that from his camp, or that's what the Niners are saying? This is what we're willing to go.
Apparently, reportedly, $26 million per year is the offer that Brandon Aiyuk and his camp have kind of heard or seen or been received by the 49ers.
So that would be $1 million over Devontae Smith and right beneath Cooper Kupp.
Right beneath Cooper Kupp, but also beneath Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, of course, got paid this offseason. Justin Jefferson reset the market, getting $35 million a year, 110 guaranteed, 88 signing, all the rest. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, that has been the, I guess, receiver that a lot of people have put into the Brandon Aiyuk conversation.
Gotcha.
Because
he's at 30, Evan.
He is 30 per year. And right now, I know that there's a lot of, conversation about how much is, guaranteed money worth, how much you get at signing. But the fact remains, the AAV right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown is 30, Devontae Smith is 25. And the 49ers reportedly just told us, in my opinion, Goo, that they see Brandon Aiyuk as being closer to Devontae Smith than Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Man, and I'm going to tell you, Evan, on this lovely Monday, I don't think that gets it done. And the reason I don't think it gets it done is I'm going Beyonce. Put a ring on it. If that was a number that Brandon Aiyuk and his camp were okay with, we would have heard news during this wide receiver boom, right? But I'll tell you this. Last week doing the shows, Evan, and people said, Goo, you're false starting, you're jumping the gun. There's nothing to worry about here because when Deebo and Bosa got their deals, it was further down the road. It wasn't in June. But, Evan, I'm going off of the IG post by Brandon Aiyuk, the tweet to Mike Tomlin, we look alike. There's been some stuff that people in the back can laugh and say it's nothing, but there's some signals. And if 26 was enough, Evan, it would be done, but I honestly believe the drafting of Ricky Pearsall is symbolic of the team saying, we're not going to cave, Brandon. This is our number. And you wonder, is it chump change that would piss Brandon Aiyuk off to where, okay, what if he wanted 28 or 30, Evan? I mean, where do you draw the line? But this is not good for a team that is getting ready to pay Brock Purdy after this season, however many M's. It could be 50, 40. I'm just throwing numbers out there. You're telling me number 11 could possibly be in another uniform or a holdout? That is a distraction I don't want for the Niners coming off a Super Bowl loss. So I don't know where this thing is headed. And then you talk about Trent Williams, who's just being a Jedi, because how many years do we really think he has left? But if you told me, if I'm John Lynch, that my guy, Trent Williams, arguably one of the best left tackles in the game, wants a new contract, that's where I'm like, oh, we can't go week one hosting the Jets Monday Night Football without him watching Purdy's blind side. So that's that, how do I dare say it? That's that McCaffrey type leverage to me. If that gets louder and it's real, what if he were to get done before Brandon?
That would be an absolute slap in the face, I believe, especially for a player with 3 years left. Ooh. But look, Goo, and by the way, Matt Simons will be back tomorrow.
Steiny!
Couldn't get a flight out apparently of Philadelphia, so he's going to be back tomorrow.
When did that break?
He told us beforehand. He had some trouble with United or Delta. I don't know, whichever ones. But Steiny's going to be back tomorrow. Yeah. We all miss him. That's Guru. My name is Evan Giddings, filling in for Steiny today. And that's why I think this conversation is fascinating, Goo, in regards to Aiyuk, because eventually the Niners are going to have to draw a line in the sand. And it feels like more than Deebo Samuel or Nick Bosa each of the last 2 off seasons that these contract negotiations are becoming, in my opinion, more contentious. And you and I fought on this a little bit before the show. The reason for me is I never felt like Deebo Samuel was not going to be a 49er. I always felt like he was too important coming off his all-star season, first-team All-Pro, and they were going to pay him.
And that was pre-McCaffrey.
Pre-McCaffrey, yeah, it was Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Deebo Samuel was the man. Last offseason, it was Nick Bosa. He was coming off the DPOY. Everyone knew, at least I felt like he was going to get paid. It was just a matter of when. I never felt like Nick Bosa was not going to be wearing the scarlet and gold.
I'm with you there.
The more and more information that leaks out, along with who the 49ers are showing us that they value, I do believe it's a possibility that Brandon Aiyuk is not playing for the 49ers this year. I feel more strongly about that and him than I felt about either Deebo Samuel or Nick Bosa.
Man, I feel that, Evan.
It is as close to a coin flip, I feel like, right now as the 49ers have been in any of their recent contract negotiations.
No doubt about it. And I'll tell you this, partner. If he's not on the field or he's no longer part of the 49ers offense, there's no way in hell, no shade at Ricky Pearsall, or if it were Lynn Swann, their first-round pick in the draft, there's no way anybody could tell me offensively without Aiyuk that they are a better team than they were last year. And a team trying to avenge another Super Bowl loss, Evan, that's not how I pictured it. And maybe the Niners are that 26 that they're offering, maybe they're poking him in the chest, sending him that message, Evan, because you just said it was a slap in the face. Maybe it's a reality of this. We like you, but we don't love you, Brandon. And if you're not with us, the show and the ship is going to go in the right direction. They have to feel that way.
I think they do love him, but the question is, do they love him more than the guys who are in front of him? I could make a case that Trent Williams, even at age 37, is more important than Brandon Aiyuk.
I got my hand raised. I'm with you.
Christian McCaffrey, I think, is a more important piece of this offense than Brandon Aiyuk is. That doesn't mean that Aiyuk isn't a damn good football player and doesn't deserve to be paid. But when I hear the reports of the 49ers floating $26 million per year at Brandon Aiyuk, which, as you laid out, Goo, is just above Devontae Smith and, of course, below Amon-Ra St. Brown, that is telling me what the 49ers think of him. And it might just be them penny pinching. It might just be them playing hardball. But that's an offer that, if it is true, if that report is factual, you can't take that back. If you're Brandon Aiyuk and you see what they think of you financially speaking, in terms of money,
yeah,
I might take offense to that.
Man, and in this new era of social media, you can say I'm wrong, Evan. I'm going to lay it on you. I do think respect is your contract. It speaks volumes, just the news and everything surrounding it. When we see the scroll at the bottom of the TV that Evan Giddings signed for such and such, I think that means something. And again, I said it and I'll die on this hill. I believe Brandon Aiyuk feels like he is more talented than they use him. But for him to continue to be who he's been and not be a problem, pay me. And I feel like part of that, the M's is pay me, because I know I'm not going to put up St. Brown numbers or A.J. Brown or Justin Jefferson. And I'll ask you, Evan, is June 10th, do you think this is a distraction on June 10th? I do. I thought it was. This is not good. And it started with Mike Silvers of the world. Everything that went down during draft night, it affected my experience, because I didn't know if Goodell, if Deebo was going to be traded, or Aiyuk. It's just continuing. I feel like it's not getting better.
Well, and that's why I think that there's a lot of wrinkles that weren't present in the Bosa and the Samuel negotiations, because we're talking about leverage right now. I think the 49ers have all the leverage because of what you just laid out. Because they took a wide receiver in the first round, because they don't use Brandon Aiyuk like Amon-Ra St. Brown is used in Detroit, because there are other pieces to this that are perhaps more important than Brandon on a given day. Brandon Aiyuk, again, he's their, I think, prototypical receiver.
Yeah.
He's their number one. But this ain't a couple of years ago where if you didn't have Deebo Samuel, that train wasn't going anywhere. Last year, if you didn't have Nick Bosa on that team, that defense, which under Steve Wilkes or under whoever, It wasn't going nowhere.
I was kind of built for this.
He was built for this. And to take the words out of Steve Wilkes' mouth, I think the 49ers are built to basically survive Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah.
Like, this is a team that is built, if he's not there next year, I don't think that they're operating at the optimal offensive level that they were a year ago, but they're built to survive Brandon Aiyuk. Just like they're built to, in a year, potentially survive not having Deebo Samuel or George Kittle or whoever else they might have to move off of. I don't think they're built right now to survive a Christian McCaffrey absence, and I definitely don't think they're built to survive a Trent Williams absence.
You know what? I love all of it, and at the end of the day, Evan, just think about it. The Niners used the first-round pick in this window we talk about because it's open, but you got to cash quick and soon. You think they were in a position to give Ricky Pearsall a red shirt or whoever that first, like, they had to know or feel some type of way to draft at Brandon Aiyuk's position, a position of strength that I thought was for the 49ers. And lo and behold, we haven't even mentioned Juwan Jennings' deal. So, Evan, they must feel or know something to where what you just said hit me. We can survive life without Aiyuk. And I'm just blown away because one of the best, I believe, attributes of Brock Purdy is what's between his ears and how quick he reads it. But, Evan, if they go down this road of hardball, per se, shout out to Giants, and something happened and he's in another uniform, I can't wait to watch this because I'll really feel more confident about maybe the Niners have had their best chance to get it done, and they didn't. But offensively, no, you can't tell me you got better offensively, Evan. That's just, now you can show me.
Agree.
But I'm just, oh my gosh, who saw this coming? And maybe they did, the org.
And that's, again, why I'm reading the actions of the franchise. And that's why I do think that this is big. A lot of people might be listening and saying,